so I may have just single-handedly figured out what the next region after PENACONY will be. Now that sounds crazy because we're only in version 2.0, but you just have to hear me on this one, okay? So around like a year, almost a year ago, when Star World just came out and it was in version 1.0, I made a video going over PENACONY, and let me get real with you. I kind of single-handedly discovered PENACONY. Back in version 1.0, there was zero mention of PENACONY. No one in the community was talking about it, and no one in the game had mentioned it at all. The only place where you could hear about PENACONY was this little broadcast right here, and this is some kind of this is something that people will gloss over pretty easily, but this is actually a really important little blue thing here. The little broadcast thing here mentioned how PENACONY was formerly a quote-unquote prison planet, which we obviously learned about later, but also that it was the planet of festivities. They're holding like a giant festival or banquet. All of this was again in version 1.0, and I feel like in the future this broadcast will really tell us about upcoming regions. Now I say this because this the text that's mentioned here changes every single patch, I think, but with the release of PENACONY in version 2.0, it's changed now, like once again, and it actually mentions something that I think is pretty interesting. So I'm kind of getting like a little sense of deja vu here, but there's a mention of a brand new region that we've never heard of before. Now it's called the Moonshield, and I guarantee you've never heard it before because no one fucking knows what it is. This IPC broadcast thing is it's a whole bunch of yap, which I actually complained about that in my first video, but I'll talk about the mentions of this brand new region, Moonshield. So it says here that the Garden of Recollection has gathered memoria fragments for the lost world of Moonshield. The precious memories of this world will not be forgotten. As we all know, the Garden of Recollection has always been committed to the restoration of lost civilizations, igniting the spark of revival across the cosmos. According to reliable sources, thanks to the efforts of the Memo Keepers, all memoria fragments of the dead world of Moonshield have been salvaged. Now, let me just talk about those little bits of information first before I move on to the rest. So, the Garden of Recollection, we've actually heard about that before. Now, I couldn't really find that much mentions of it in game, but I promise I have heard that before. It's also tied with the Path of Remembrance. I think the Garden of Recollection is just like an organization that follows the Eon of Remembrance, kind of like the Masked Fools in a way, or the Knights of Beauty, something like that. Now what's really interesting is this quote that says, according to reliable sources, thanks to the efforts of the Memo Keepers. Now we actually have already seen a Memo Keeper. One of them has their banner going on right now, Black Swan. But the Memo Keepers might really be important in the upcoming story updates for PENACONY, and also maybe for this new region as well. Now, we didn't really know much about how the updates would work in Star Rail, like when regional updates will be coming out, if Star Rail would skip updates, which now we know that the game does. But with this new region, it's gonna come out 3.0 if I'm right, which, let's be honest, come on, I probably am. But we could probably see 3.0. Yeah, let me use ChatGPT, see when 3.0 is coming. So version 3.0 will probably be dropping on February 25th, 2025. So that's a year and 1 day away from today. Also, not really that important. But yeah, we've already got a mention of the Memo Keepers. We've seen some of them in action in PENACONY already. Who's to say that Moonshield won't be a region that's entirely surrounded around the Memo Keepers? So now I'm going to show you why I really think that this planet will be the next region after PENACONY. So The last little bits of information that I've been gatekeeping for the past couple of minutes say that Moonshield was destroyed during an invasion by the Antimatter Legion, but with the combined efforts of the IPC and the Garden of Remembrance, the collection of information about the fallen world was recently declared a success. The Memo Keepers plan for it to be reborn in the pristine land of the Remembrance. The destruction can destroy any material thing, but it can never take away our hope. The IPC will provide whatever support and protection within its means for the long-term development of all civilizations across the universe, including those that have perished. So that's everything that the IPC mentioned about Moonshield. Now I think this is really I think it's meant to generate hype, but yeah, no one really cares about these broadcasts other than me. That's because I'm a geek, you know, I'm a nerd. It's in the name, but I don't know. I'm sure most people have caught on by now, but every single planet so far, or every region, has had some kind of tie to one of the eons or one of the paths. Eurilo 6 follows the path of preservation, the Shinjo Lofu and the Shinjo Alliance as a whole follows the path of the hunt, and PENACONY, as we know, follows the path of harmony. Now, I didn't mention the Herna space station, but that's because, well, one, I actually don't know which path it follows, if there's even any. Might be erudition, I don't know. I can't remember. Also, it's kind of exempt from the other regions, because it feels more like a tutorial region than anything else, in my opinion. So what we know about Moonshield so far is that with all of the other regions so far, it follows its own path, you know, remembrance. It has ties with the Memo Keepers and the Garden of Recollection, which also has ties to the whole remembrance path thing. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but Moonshield, what we know about Moonshield so far kind of gives off like post Stellaron Crisis Eurilo 6 vibes. I don't know if that's anyone else, like the regions destructed, or like the whole region's in shambles, just like with Eurilo 6 when the Trailblazers got there, and now it's being like rebuilt, you know, just like in Eurilo 6 with the whole Stellaron Crisis being resolved and the snow slowly being melted away. I don't know, I really wonder how the Moonshield story will play out. I might, like I said, I might make a video like that, considering how invested I am in this whole thing, but that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about this video, and if you think Moonshield will really be the next region, or maybe I just sound schizophrenic. If you never see anything, I'm never gonna know. But that's it really. If you enjoyed, found this informative, or thought it was cool, make sure to go down there, like and subscribe, and that's it for me. Bye bye.